A little news of the day. It happened in Puerto Rico, and it wasn't a pretty sight. And it's something that we need to talk about because I didn't like it.
Yeah, Rob, it's disappointing making me read a story about the Hispanic brethren in Puerto Rico. On the highlight today.
What are you talking about?
But no, yeah, in all seriousness.
Are you Puerto Rican?
No.
Okay.
Well, we stand together.
Okay. Do you?
No, not
do
really.
y'all? I'm about to say, do y'all?
Not
I
really.
was
Not
gonna
really.
say no.
I was like,
I mean, if we're keeping it 100,
Yes.
the Puerto Ricans probably more with y'all than me, but
Right.
well, Dominicans.
Yeah, them too.
Yeah.
but all right, in any event, former NBA All-Star big man DeMarcus Cousins was involved in an ugly scene in a Puerto Rican league basketball game. He got into a verbal altercation with a gentleman sitting on the sidelines. During the back and forth, Cousins grabs at his private areas and said some profanity. The man on the sideline flips him the bird. DeMarcus flips the bird back. Things get very heated, very confrontational. As DeMarcus Cousins is getting escorted off the floor for this run-in, he had dozens, in fact, of Puerto Rican basketball fans throwing beer, throwing food at him as he exited the court. At one point, it looked like he tried to get into the stands to go at these fans, but he was restrained by security before he was eventually taken into the locker room. But had there not been that kind of security, we would have had Malice in the Palace Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's how bad it was.
And DeMarcus Cousins, I get it. You're not happy with what went on in the arena, but you can't. I don't care. You cannot NOT go into the stands and fight fans. You can't. That's for security. That's for the people who it's their job to maintain that. Going in the stands, it was bad at the Palace, the Malice at the Palace. When they threw a chair, like I always go back to this, into the stands. God forbid it didn't hit a 3-year-old or a 5-year-old who was sitting there like they dodged a bullet. Can you imagine if something happened because they threw a chair in the stands and a kid was hit with it? Like, you just can't do it. I get it. It's not right. It's not fair when you pay for a ticket. That doesn't give you a right to be vulgar and say racist stuff or mean-spirited. Like it doesn't. But under any that's just not your place. The same way fans shouldn't come down on the court, players should never, under any circumstance, go into the stands. Point them out to security. This guy, that guy. We've seen LeBron do that and other players where they've gotten people put out. Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
I didn't agree with because they called him Westbrick. Like, to me, that doesn't border. That's sensitive. That. I'm sorry. I have a right to say Westbrook.
Just cash out tonight. Hit a bunch of shots.
Exactly. I mean, but DeMarcus Cousins trying to get into the stand, that's a no-no. Under any circumstance, any situation, you can't do it.
This is why it's a complicated conversation for me. Because I don't know if it was 150 years ago, 200 years ago, but maybe centuries ago. Maybe it was the Gladiator. Are you not entertained? But I don't know what happened where it became, in only that facet of life, it's okay for me to call you fill in the blank. N-word, sexually explicit word, a homophobic word, a racist word, talk about your kids, talk about your mom, I'm doing this to your wife. It's the crazy, like, what other facet of life? You and I do a show, and if somebody called on our show and said, hey, Rob, by the way, blank, we would immediately hang up. If you and I were doing a live event somewhere, and that happened, no one does that. No one walks into an office, throws popcorn at people, ice from sodas, beer at people. And so it gets to me where I get your point, but it becomes complicated where why are these women, men and women, the only people expected to just take that? You know I do news in the morning.
I'm not
sitting around, and nobody just comes in. I hate the way you do your news and spits in my face or throws a battery at me like football players get batteries and snowballs and things thrown at them. And my point is, we love sports. It's highly volatile. It's impassioned. You're into it as a player, and you're right on the edge, right? It's football, violent. You're right on the edge of, like, organized chaos. You're mad you blew this player. This team just beat you. And somebody's booing you, flicking you off, and they throw a beer at you, a snowball, and I'm supposed to be the bigger man. Like, I don't get why that's the case.
Why? Because
So
that's not for you to handle. That's the same thing in a dispute, whatever. That's why you have police. You don't just go handle it yourself, okay?
But you do, Rob.
No, you
If
don't.
me and you were out at the bar.
No, you don't. That's not the best way.
But you
to
know
do
what I'm
it.
saying.
And as a professional representing a city, a league, there's all kinds of stuff. You sign this. You decide that this is what you want to do. Your idea of going in the stands, you can get the situation rectified. I'm not talking about somebody throwing a bottle or like trying to injure you. That person has to be dealt with. You have to point that person out, whatever. But you can't be where you're trying to get in the stands to have an altercation and open up your not only yourself, team, league, who are you swinging on? Do you really know who that person is? Do you really know who threw the beer? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot that goes with it, and I don't think that's where you want to be, and I don't think that's where you want to be as a league where players are going in and beating up fans. No, I don't. I don't think that you ever want to be there.
I don't ever want to be there, but I also want to go to work where I don't have to deal with that. Right? You and I come here, I expect it to be.
Office.
No, but I'm saying I expect.
Don't be a pro athlete.
No, well, no. Or you be an adult. You paid your ticket. Come enjoy the game. Call me Westbrook. Say boo. Say you suck. Whatever. I'm cool with all that.
Wanted somebody thrown out because he said Westbrook.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You're allowed to say Westbrook is what I'm saying. I'm saying now I'm fine with that. I'm fine with you saying I suck.
I could boo and all that.
Yeah,
too,
boo.
right.
I'm with all that. If it's past that, dang it, Alex. We might have to nut if you buck. We got to nut if you buck. You've been throwing batteries at me, Rob. If you're throwing snowballs at me, Rob G feels me in there dancing. That's right.
Look at Rob G.
You're calling my kids this. You're flicking me off. You're grabbing my shoulder. You're throwing soda in my face. Nuck if you buck. I'm not that type of person, me, Kelvin Washington. However,
you cannot.
If this is what I can't be mad at an adult.
Yes, you can.
Wanting to punch an adult who throws something at them, Rob. Come on, Rob.
That is not.
So the onus is on me.
Yes.
So the onus is on me, not the adults.
Yes.
That's
the onus is on you.
No,
the
I
onus
can't.
is on you as a professional athlete to go to security and say that dude right there just did this or that. That's what you do.
No.
You don't have to go settle it.
My daughters do that in preschool.
You don't go settle it.
I'm a grown man. Alex, tell him what I'm doing.
If you go,
my daughters go get the teacher, Rob. That's what I'm doing.
No, you won't be a professional athlete for long because that's not the way it should be handled. It never should be handled that way.
Hey, Rob Parker, Mr. Red Jacket person who really ain't here for security. You just trying to get some free tickets every now and again. That guy right there just threw a battery of snowball, popcorn, beer at me. No.
I've seen guys. There was a guy, a famous one, where a guy at a Giants game threw a snowball. They had the camera. They found out it was him and everything, and he was ejected or whatever. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be disciplined if they break the rules of being a fan, and we've seen that. But that's not for every situation you're trying to go in the stands to fight people.
But wouldn't you agree,
I'm just being honest.
I don't know, Rob.
I would never go in a fight.
Rob.
I would just block them on Twitter. You know what I'm saying?
That you would do that. But I don't know, Rob.
I'm a blocker, not a... It's my Twitter, and I'll block if I want to. Block if I want to. Block if I want to. You would block, too, if they tried to diss you.
That's what I'm doing. Rob G's with me. Rob G's with me. I'm sitting here, look at me, minding my business. And Rob G, the battery hits me.
You ain't fight nobody. Stop it.
Listen. The greatest example is the Malice at the Palace. Ron Artest, because he was not meta yet, tried to do the best thing ever. Do you not agree?
No, he didn't.
He went like this. Walked away from Ben Wallace, laid on the score.
No, but some knucklehead threw a soda at him, a drink.
A beer.
Right. So what?
What do you mean, so what? Rob G, come in here and throw that soda you're sipping on right now in Rob's face.
No, I'm just saying.
I would go get the authorities
You know what would be more offensive to me than him actually throwing a soda on me?
What?
The idea that he threw a $10 drink and wasted it.
Maybe that's why. That would be you.
That would bother me more than actually.
That would be you. I agree with you on that.
How in the world would you throw a $10 soda on somebody?
Rob, I can't believe you're trying to sell me on this.
I'm dead serious. I would never.
Rob G, where are you on this? Please tell me I'm not crazy. I'm not saying
Rob
every
G,
single thing in life,
no, you
but there's
can't-
a certain point
no,
where
you're a professional. You can't fight
Rob G
at
with me.
all, ever.
Rob G's with me.
Oh, I'm with Dub. 1,000%.
Rob G.
1,000%. Now, I'm not a violent person.
No.
I'm not actively looking to fight somebody. But I'm also not going to not defend myself if somebody is going to throw objects at me like I'm some circus animal.
Right, that's the crazy. You're an adult. It's not a 10-year-old or
Rob G, what
12-year-old.
circus animal. I'm talking about fighting because somebody threw a drink on you.
Yes!
Yes!
Okay, watch this, Rob G.
Alex.
Hold on, Rob G, watch your Reggie. If you and I, you're back on your cheesecake, you're excited, and we're sitting at Cheesecake Factory, and you're at the bar, hey, by the way, let me get what are you drinking with Cosmo, whatever your thing is.
Cosmo.
You get your Cosmo. And some guy goes, hey, Rob Parker, I hate your takes, I hate your show, and I really hate Aaron Rodgers. And they throw a drink at you. Rob Parker's going to be knocking and be funny. And then I got to go hold my cheesecake, and I got to go help you.
What I would do
Oh,
is
I'm going to hear this.
I would call Scott, tell him that our boss that he needs to come over to Cheesecake Factory because we got a
You
situation.
know these listeners been listening to you long enough. They don't buy it, right?
and have
You
Scott
got a little
handle
New
it.
York in you still.
Because I represent Fox Sports Radio
Man.
at all times.
Do you listen to this show? We barely
At
represent
all
Fox
times.
Sports Radio. We barely hanging on, Rob.
Alex,
hanging on by a thread.
Alex, where are you? Come on, Alex.
That's
Alex
my
would-
music.
Bring some-
Distasteful. How dare you think of scrimmaging and throwing these barbaric hands on people for things that are
Yes.
just so trivial,
Alex is with
so
me.
simple? Would you want to squabble over facts, or would you like to disdain over tea and crumpets?
You a scrabble.
I
You
would
ain't
not
in the
even
gym for no
touch.
reason.
I wouldn't even breathe.
You're not in the gym
You're
for
not
no
gonna give
reason.
that- You're not going to give that guy the satisfaction, are
I
you?
wouldn't even ask his name.
The best part about this is I know for a fact that some crazy, I hate the odd couple threw a drink in Rob's face at Cheesecake Factory. Rob Parker will go full
You know-
Queens, New York, son.
No, you know what I would do?
Rob has class.
I would open my mouth to try to get as much of it as the drink was coming
I'm sorry,
my
but
way.
I
That was
can't
a
back that one. Rob.
Crazy drop.
Rob, your good friend
That
50
was
Cent would be
crazy.
very upset with your answer
Alex,
to this question.
You could hear
No,
that.
that was a crazy.
I,
That was
we
a
saved
crazy
it.
drop.
What?
I say your good friend 50 Cent will be really upset with you for this
Yeah.
response.
All right.
Can I just say this on behalf of Dub? We got young kids who are both, gonna grow up to be fine, worldly individuals. From 10 years ago
Mm-hmm.
to 10 years from now, these hands are ready to eat for everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Unbelievable.
Exactly.
Know that.
And that's the worst part. Listen, these games, they're getting crazy at games. If I'm at a game, even as a fan, and you're fighting them, you fall on my daughters because you're fighting some other dude about men in tights, you best believe. Alex, you know what I'm doing.